Welcome back to This Week in Sheffield. I'm Adam Husicka, and today we've got a wide variety of stories for you covering politics, culture and sport. This episode marks the halfway point of this season of the programme, with just 2 more episodes left after this. Now, some stories contain flashing lights, so viewer discretion is advised. Here are today's headlines. The University of Sheffield Sports Committee organised a fashion show held at the Foundry where students walked the runway to raise money for charities and campaigns like Movember and This Girl Can. Sheffield is bustling with independent businesses, but sometimes they're hard to find. Come with us to explore Sheffield's hidden gems, including cafes and new vintage shops in the city centre. Corporation Nightclub in Sheffield hosted a charity music event to raise money for Trax Music School, with local DJs and artists performing on the night and mesmerising the crowd. The Sheffield Hatters, England's first ever women's basketball team, played against Manchester on Sunday's Super League Basketball Championship and won 83-66. Stay tuned for these stories and much more coming up on This Week in Sheffield. And coming up later is an interview with the organisers of Cat Calls of Sheffield to talk about their project in combating street harassment, and also an interview with a former member of the Obama campaign, sharing his views on the political climate in the US. Now, Sheffield students hit the runway as the University of Sheffield Sports Committee organised a fashion show where students modelled to raise money for charities and campaigns like Movember and This Girl Can. Viewer discretion is advised as this story contains flashing lights. Taja Booth reports.
Here at the University of Sheffield, the University Sports Committee is putting on a fashion show to raise money for Movember and This Girl Can. Behind me, the stage is looking empty, but very shortly it will be filled with models across the university to represent their sports societies.
During the month of November, people from across the world grow moustaches in solidarity to all the men suffering from mental health, prostate and testicular cancer.
Hi, I'm Matty and I am walking for Movember, for Swap Shop and for Fashion Society. Wearing the fake moustaches from Movember was fantastic. I shaved my moustache, which I'd had for a year a couple of weeks ago for Movember, so yeah, and I mean all the things that the charity stands for, the things that I went through sadly, so yeah, it's a really important one. Everyone should feel motivated and be able to be themselves and express who they are, because everyone who's hiding who they are is always suffering.
This Girl Can is a campaign designed to encourage women to get more involved in sports and help tackle the gender activity gap.
Hello, I'm Kate.
I'm Holly.
I'm Tilly.
And we're from Women's Football.
We're walking for loads of different charities today. We're doing Movember, This Girl Can, Sheffield Community Charity, and just for loads of different causes.
We're very excited to be here.
For me, it's like supports mental health.
Yeah. Especially men's mental health as well. You know, it's always nice to give it in the spotlight and give it awareness and stuff.
And This Girl Can, like getting women into sport, I think is really important in all this. So yeah. The walking's really fun. Everyone's like cheers you on. It's so
we've never done anything like this before, and we're loving it.
Yeah,
it's so much
just
fun.
such a good giggle. Yeah, it's really fun.
And the crowd are amazing. They're such.
So they make
so
it
much
100%.
fun. Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice seeing your friends out there as well.
Oh,
It's
it's really nice. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Theo and I'm in men's cricket.
I'm TJ and I'm in swimming and water polo.
For me personally, I see it as really, really important to discuss men's mental health. It's something that is a taboo in today's society and we don't talk about enough. And you know, it's one man dies every minute, which is something that really isn't acceptable when it's something that you can talk about with your mates.
Me and my friends, we want to be, talking to each other about this sort of stuff. I feel like this is, really helping, bring us together, and it's just sort of a talking point, in sort of the time of the year, and I think it's really helpful for all of us, really.
The fashion show was a massive success. All the audience were dressed to their nines, and it raised lots of money for multiple charities. Hopefully we'll see it again next year.
Sheffield has consistently been ranked among the top 10 cities in the UK to start a business, and with many new venues having opened recently, the city centre and its surroundings are bustling with independent businesses. Come and explore a few of our favourite hidden gems around the city centre with Felipa Justino.
It's no secret that Sheffield is full of great shops and cafes, but let me show you some hidden gems you might have missed.
One of my personal favourite independent cafes in Sheffield is Albi's. Super cosy vibes inside with an upstairs area and a downstairs area.
With very comfortable couches and impeccable service, the friendly staff is sure to welcome you with open arms and make you feel right at home.
It's open on weekdays from 8 AM until 4 PM.
Albi's Coffee is located on Snig Hill, just off the city centre, so it's a little more quiet, which is great if you want to have a study sesh or even just read a good book. And they have amazing coffee.
Up next, we have Good Good Vintage on Carver Street. This is where the iconic Freshman's Vintage shop used to be. And the good news is, this one is just as iconic.
We opened in September with the new renovations, but we were doing a pop-up here for about a year before that. We source in Italy and Holland, so we've got quite a few suppliers there, but we really do work hard, you know, doing lots of hunting. Try to go away for about a week in the month to go get all the stock.
Another very cute cafe is Hyge on Fitzland Square. With a Denmark-inspired style interior, the design of the cafe creates a cool and relaxed atmosphere for people who want to do some work or catch up on the latest gossip. They serve fresh sandwiches and cakes as well as delicious hot drinks. It's open Monday to Friday from 8 AM till 6 PM and 9 AM to 6 PM on weekends.
There's honestly just too many places in Sheffield to choose from. I'll just stick to sipping my hot chocolate. This Week in Sheffield, Felipe Justino.
And now I'm joined by Forge TV's very own head of entertainment, Natalia Santana, to talk about her new programme. So, can you tell me a little bit more, or can you tell the viewers a little bit more about this exciting project?
This wonderful project that we've set up is a student twist take on the classic British reality dining TV show known as Come Dine With Me. The twist is that we're giving them a tighter budget because we're all students, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Production started this week. We're really excited to keep it going, but we want to put the word out there that it's not too late if you want to get involved as a competitor. If you find all the details through the Forge TV Instagram or the Come Dine on a Dime, as is our title, Instagram page, fill out the Google Forms and get involved, spread the word to your friends.
I'm really excited about this. What inspired you mainly? Like, what was the inspiration behind this?
Fully honest, I binge watched every episode of Come Dine With Me. It became a bit of a tradition with my brother. It was like every time we were sitting down to have lunch or dinner together, just the two of us, we'd put on an episode while it was still on Netflix, I'm not sure it is now, and binge watch it and kind of rip through it and be like commenting. It's a great show to talk as you watch, you know what I mean? Yeah. And so we'd be eating and talking about the show, and deepest memory I have of it is when I was younger and I was on a sick day from primary school. Daytime television in the UK, apparently it was at that point in the 2000s, is like back-to-back episodes of Come Dine With Me. So I was like, this is what I'm qualified to do if I'm going to be launching an entertainment show. And I just think the format is great. I think it's something that could encourage collaboration between societies. That's another angle for us, is we'd love to get sort of a representative from different societies. Of the 5 contestants, quite a diverse group, the kind of group that maybe wouldn't naturally hang out and see what happens, to kind of have it be a reflection of the diverse campus we have here at Uni of. So that's going to be super exciting to get these strangers together. We have a really amazing production team already signed up. Members of Forge TV, but also some newbies. So it's a great chance for them to get some experience in production.
Yeah. Do you have any favourite moments from Come Dine With Me? I mean, obviously, you've won, Jane. Enjoy the money. Do you have any others?
Absolutely. An iconic moment. And I used to dream about my 15 minutes of fame. What would I say? What would I cook? I constantly would have the thoughts, what would my menu be? Oh, but the greatest moments, I think, I love when they snoop through the people's rooms. Oh, yeah. That always generates some really hilarious moments, you know, like why do they have so many tennis rackets in here? And then they're not even a tennis player, they just collect tennis rackets. That's the beauty of this show. So I can't even narrow it down to a specific memory. It's kind of all become one mass of British awkwardness in my mind and some questionable food. Yeah.
You're going to have people snooping through rooms on this programme?
So, of course, an element of it depends what our cast is prepared to do, but we want to go full out for entertainment. So I would love to do an element of that within consent, within boundaries, obviously. But, you know, if you want to lay out an object of interest in your room and have people have a look, and then that sparks a conversation, that will make for some great TV. So that's what we're going for, to make the most high quality student come dine with me, come dine on a dime series, and you can be guaranteed some funny moments just like in the original show.
I'm really excited. And just lastly, what are the most exciting things about this for you?
For me, definitely the most exciting thing is this is the type of project that gives us so much creative freedom, a chance to push ourselves, do some comedy editing, even little things like putting together our music for the intro, coming up with our graphic design and like a branding for what we're putting together, little like opportunities to develop skills like tech management, organization. I figured out how to use Google Sheets within the past 2 weeks, so it's already proving fruitful for personal development. So that whole process, but mostly I've really loved the team so far, already making great connections, and I look forward to meeting the rest of our full crew and cast. That's what's exciting to me. I'm sure there'll be some funny moments. We'll be releasing behind the scenes after the show airs as well. And we are gearing up to a live show. That's the aim. Our finale, we're looking to do it as a live show with the bloopers and the reveal of the winner. The second twist, as I should have mentioned, is that original show, you get all the competitor scores at the end of each episode. The only real surprise is, can the host of the final night beat the current like scoreboard leader? But for us, we're not going to reveal all the scores until the live finale.
Oh, that's good.
So our viewers have that to look forward to. We're gonna only drop one score per episode. And so if you...
one of the contestants.
Yes.
Oh,
so
right, okay.
5 contestants, you only get to see the contestant score somebody once per episode. At the end, we'll drop all the scores. You'll get to see what they really thought about the food, what they gave it in a number form, and reveal the winner. There's a mystery prize for the winner, and they'll take a prize courtesy of Forge TV for their society that they're representing. So that's some great incentive for them. If people are unsure, that should be the final push. But of course, any questions, they can always get in contact with us.
Well, thank you so much for coming in and talking about this. I'm so excited to see what you guys come up with, and I'm sure the viewers equally will be just as excited. So just remember, check it out on Instagram, Come Dine on a Dime. And as you said, there is still time to get in touch.
Absolutely. Please still get in touch. You could make it.
When guardians fail to provide, it's up to the care workers to support children who are struggling to lead a normal childhood. To show their appreciation for the care system and give back to the community, a number of Sheffield-based artists from the Walter Bear College of Music collaborated to throw a charity gig at Corporation Nightclub, with all the money going towards funding for Track's music school. Our Codetta has the story.
I'm here outside Corp, but the charity event is just kicking off. Let's see what the night has in store for us.
Tonight is a charity event for Tracks at Corporation. There's going to be loads of rappers, DJs, it's just going to be really nice. It's going to be a good vibe. So people are going to turn up, and every single person that comes in, £2 gets donated to Tracks Sheffield. Really. I'm giving back because I used to be in care, so for me this is just giving back to young kids and getting them into music instead of other stuff, if you know what I mean.
It's like Bruce, now we're getting kind of smoky. Right to the booth, please looking dope.
We wanted to find like a children in care, so a charity for children in care, and specifically for that. But then we found Tracks, which obviously gives kids with difficult, lifestyles be able to chance to make music and create music and learn to produce music as well, which obviously is a comfort for people that not necessarily find comfort in other things.
Already crossed my T's, not tired, but I still plan my moves inside.
Please, Lord, I just need a verse. Gone for the back, but I played it first. The whole game's hers.
So we're DNO, together as a duo. I'm Bobby Local. I'm Junior. I'm the singer, he's the rapper. And together we just vibe. Yeah, man. So we've done about 7 tracks today. Some one release, so the rest of them are coming soon. Yeah, you gotta wait for the rest of it. Yeah, sick. Good vibe. Yeah, it's been sick what Kid Blue and Opium have put on tonight. It's been a nice event. I hope they can do another one because it's for a good cause. So we're always down for a good cause.
I like to take control. Show me to the door and told me that I had to go.
Mate, it's been really cool, man. It's been really cool to see all the artists playing. I work for Water Bear, so it's been really cool to see Kid Blue, DNO, Owen Miles doing some DJing. Yeah, it's been a really, really cool night, and obviously all for a really, really lovely cause. So yeah, it's been great. Everyone's such lovely vibes and really talented as well. So yeah, definitely come back to this kind of stuff. It looks great on there. Everyone's lovely. So yeah, I'll definitely be back.
Uncle Mark always gets free drinks down at his local. Uncle Mark, charming demeanor.
I'm a money on my mind since I was a little G. Watching Get Rich or Die Trying. Imagining it's me in a white Benz, chipped up slow motion. I'm smoking on this cushion.
Yeah, it's gone quite well, to be honest. A little bit stressful before. I've been DJing tonight, so obviously it's getting all music sorted and everything and getting it all ready, getting a track list. But yeah, no, it's gone pretty smooth. We've been actually like on time with all the set list. Everyone's been pretty like punctual with everything. But it's worked well tonight. Looking to put on more events, similar sort of thing. Hopefully just grow it and grow it. So we're happy with it for the first one, the turnout. Yeah, it's gone well.
Different leagues. Them guys can't put that shit on. They can't put it together like me. Set man posting flips to the gram. I still never see them rocket.
This Week in Sheffield.
Now we take a bit of a leap across the Atlantic over to the chaotic political scene in the US, which is still reeling from the recent presidential elections. In an exclusive interview with a former member of the Obama campaign, reporter Joseph Murphy asks the questions that matter.
I'm Joseph Murphy for Forge TV. Today we interview Matthew McGregor, our guest speaker, and get his thoughts on the US election race alongside what we could see from the Trump presidency.
Hi, I'm Matthew McGregor. I'm the CEO of 38 Degrees, and I've worked in both British politics and for the Obama campaign in 2012.
So, Matthew, what was your reaction to the election results?
One of real disappointment and pain. I'm a dual UK-US citizen, and I voted for Kamala Harris, and the result is really, really difficult to process. Donald Trump is someone who has consistently expressed racist views, misogynist views. He has criminal convictions. He's been held criminally responsible for sexual assault. This is someone who I don't think should be the leader of the United States, but voters felt otherwise, and I think there are big lessons that progressives, Democrats in the US, the centre left in this country will need to process and think through. This was a decisive defeat. The result is not close, and that's something we will have to process and try and learn from.
What do you feel that we could see from the Trump administration?
I think the Trump administration is going to do what Trump has said it will do, which is cut taxes for the very wealthy, to be incredibly hostile to some of the United States trading partners with tariffs that I think will cause quite a lot of damage economically to the United States, but also to the countries he's targeting, in particular China, but Mexico. And I think this is a really worrying time for Ukraine. Donald Trump has clearly a close relationship with Vladimir Putin, and the chances that Ukraine will be victorious in this conflict, in defending themselves against Russian aggression, I think is now a lower chance of that happening now than it was at the beginning of the week. And finally, the situation in the Middle East. Donald Trump has very clearly said that he wants to give the extreme right-wing government of Benjamin Netanyahu a freer rein, and even freer rein to conduct their onslaught against people in Gaza and in Lebanon. And so this is a really worrying time for people with progressive values, and I think it will be a very, very difficult few years.
Trump has said quite ardently that he wants to end the war in Gaza. He's going to stop it. How do you feel that this is going to occur, and what do you think that the potential ramifications of Trump's ideas are in this section?
Well, look, I'm a campaigner by trade. I wouldn't say I'm a foreign policy expert, but I can tell you what Donald Trump has said, which is that he will give carte blanche to the Netanyahu government to do, in his words, whatever they need to do. I think we can all imagine what that might look like.
And how do you think that the Trump campaign is essentially going to move forward with Russia, essentially?
We'll have to wait and see what the administration does. Donald Trump won't take office until January. This transition period, President Biden will remain the president during that time. America only has one president at a time. But Vice President-elect J.D. Vance has already talked about trying to pursue a ceasefire based on freezing the lines as they are now, which, as I'm sure you'll know, it would mean that Russia would maintain de facto occupation of swathes of eastern Ukraine. Ukraine has some Russian territory, a little Russian territory that they took a few weeks and months ago, but freezing the lines as they are now would result in the loss of Ukrainian territory, and that's something that the Ukrainians have said that they can't accept. So we'll wait and see what the administration does when it takes office in January. But I think these are quite worrying times for anyone who wants to see a Ukrainian victory in this conflict.
How do we feel that what can we expect in the coming months out of the current presidency?
I mean, the presidency in this kind of transition period between an outgoing administration of one party and the incoming administration of another party typically doesn't result in a huge amount of legislative activity. There is what they call a lame duck Congress. Lots of representatives who have lost their seats but who will continue to be fully legitimate members of Congress or the Senate until January. So I think there is more likely there will be executive action. The president has a number of executive powers, and I think that Joe Biden will seek to try and focus on pocketbook issues that he has done over the last 4 years: student debt, trade union rights, and just try and put as many points on the board as he can.
What essentially is the global stage set for with Trump as the leader of the Western world? And also, would we still be calling the president of the US the leader of the Western world?
I think this election is a huge boost to the global upsurge in strength of the far right. Donald Trump is not necessarily a unique or an outlier in this regard. We've seen a huge surge of support for the far right in France, in Germany, Scandinavia. So I think this result is a really, really big boost for those authoritarians, the forces of nationalism across Europe and the Americas. And it's a really worrying time for those of us with progressive values who want to see the far right push back.
And now in this episode's Student Spotlight, I'm joined by Flo and Babhravi from Cat Calls of Sheffield to talk about their unique campaign in combating harassment. Hi guys, thanks for coming in to the studio.
Hi, thank you for inviting us.
No worries at all. So just to start off, could you tell me more about what you're doing and just the whole thing, basically?
Absolutely. So we began the campaign back in April of this year, and Cat Calls of Sheffield is one of almost 60 Cat Calls of campaigns which are based globally as part of the Talkback movement. The Talkback movement began in New York in 2016 with the first Cat Calls of New York account, and it's a campaign which is based around tackling harassment, one of which of the ways is through our chalking, which is the most visible thing of our activism, and it's pretty much just kind of snowballed from April. We've made a lot of progress in that time, and yeah, it's just been a good time pretty much.
Amazing. And what prompted you to start this movement?
So we were both in our first year of uni last year, and we met, and we both have a big interest in things like social justice and equality. We kind of noticed how widespread of a problem harassment was, and the idea that even though people kind of accept that it happens and that it's wrong, people don't think there's much that they can really do about it. And so we wanted to begin the movement as a way to empower receptors of harassment, and also to just tackle the idea that life kind of can't exist without harassment, and that it's this normal thing that should just kind of continue the way that it is.
And since April, what kind of a reaction have you had so far?
It's been, I'd say, pretty overwhelmingly positive, because I think that so often, we're aware that there aren't the systems of support for people who've experienced harassment, and so having this way where people can have their experiences kind of made public but in an anonymous way, I think is powerful. And we've had a lot of people approach us, whether that's online or in real life, and have kind of just said how important they think the campaign is, and that it's helped them, and be able to, show that they had an experience of it. That's not to say that we haven't had some negative reception of it, because like any campaign which is working towards some form of social justice, you're going to have people who don't necessarily support that. But I'd say so far it's been pretty overwhelmingly positive.
Yeah. And what about some negativity? Do you ever get some backlash for what you do?
We've had a couple of times when we've been out chalking, and we've had kind of members of the public come up to us and ask us a bit about what we're doing and almost laugh about it or dismiss it. We've also had some negative reactions from staff in clubs where they've come out while we've been chalking outside and said things like, oh, well, how do you know that this is true? So you can kind of understand, I guess, why they might not want that to be there, because they feel it reflects badly on them. But what we're trying to do isn't to kind of get these places shut down. We're just trying to get them to acknowledge that harassment happens in their venue. Absolutely. And to put better policies in place to tackle it.
That's it, because we're trying to change a culture that's been established here of the way in which harassment is just normalised and very often ignored or justified. And so, as Babhravi said, we can understand why the clubs find us perhaps a bit threatening in terms of the fact that we are exposing the kind of wrongdoings of their staff, but we're here to make change, and that's not going to make everyone feel comfortable.
Yeah. Obviously, I mean, it's really unfortunate that many people don't believe that catcalling is a problem. And what advice would you give to people, especially women and girls who face this kind of reaction when they speak up about their experiences with it?
I think it's a very difficult one, because, as I mentioned previously, the systems of support that are in place are so often deeply flawed in terms of the fact that there is that kind of culture of gaslighting and kind of, making harassment, as you said, not seem as if it's like a real thing. I think knowing that there is support systems available that will believe you and that will provide adequate support, I think is important to know. And I also just think on a less kind of, on a different note, just knowing that we know that it happens, everyone knows that it happens, whether that reflects in the culture around harassment, I think is slightly different, but just knowing that other people have had similar experiences, and that us as a campaign are, we believe in these experiences and we want to voice them.
Yeah. I think quite often people feel as though they don't want to speak about their experiences because they don't want too much attention to be drawn to the fact that they've had those experiences, or to be kind of seen as a victim to them. And so the submissions to us are anonymous, people are able to share as much or as little as they want about it, and we believe them and we acknowledge that this does happen.
Yeah.
And I think whereas often when it comes to reporting or going on to other systems of support, there's a lot of pressure on people that have experienced harassment to provide all these details that might be quite uncomfortable for them to provide.
Yeah, I'd say absolutely. I mean, we've spoken about this in the past, that this is kind of one of the problems that we have with the policing as a system to kind of tackle harassment, because not only is the policing system often a major, often a lot of harassment actually stems from the policing system, but we know that it's not an adequate system to support all people, especially people of marginalised identities. And so I think that, you know, it's important that we voice that. Obviously, we're not telling people to not go to the police, because for many people that will be the support system that works for them. But I think just recognising the fact that there are systems which are maybe, as Babhravi mentioned, you know, forcing people to give very, very intimate details about very kind of traumatic experiences. But yeah.
It's also really important for us to note, like as an intersectional campaign, that we acknowledge that policing can be harmful towards certain communities, and that often when harassment gets discussed, it's discussed as this framing of violence against women and girls, which is really important to talk about, but it is also really important to acknowledge homophobic harassment, transphobic harassment, racist harassment, and the fact that these aren't separate things. These can often occur simultaneously.
I think that's it, because in what we're doing, there's no point us trying to tackle like one specific type of harassment, because if we're only helping prevent harassment for one group of people, that's not actually helping kind of degrade this like wider system. And so it's important for us to focus on everyone's experiences.
Yeah. Have you guys been involved with the university, or is this something you do completely independently?
We aren't affiliated with the university. I mean, we're both students here, but we're aware of the systemic problems within the university when it comes to systems of support and also harassment in university venues. So yeah, we're not affiliated with them.
Yeah. And what has this campaign brought to you personally?
That's quite that's a good question. It's a broad one to answer. I think for me, it's been a way to try to create change within the community and to, I guess, get to know different people and different groups and to acknowledge all these interlinked struggles that come into tackling harassment. And it's been a way, I think, for us both to sort of feel empowered and feel I don't know how you want to describe.
I'd say that's it. I think I was not in like a not cringe way, but I think I was always really meant to do something like this, because it's just something which I get so much joy out of. And I think sometimes it can be frustrating because, you know, we're trying to tackle this massive problem and you kind of, it's like a ball of string, like you pull one fibre of it and then you realise that it's this whole like other thing. But I think that, it has been empowering, and just being able to...
It's been a way for us to work towards something we believe in, I think, and to not just have these ideas and values that we believe in as principles, but to show that you can take them and create actual change from them.
Absolutely. And just been able to feel as if things are possible to change, and that we, you know, if you want to do something and if you want to try make things better, that I feel as if, you know, we're working towards doing that, and that's major.
And for sure, with gratitude from people that you've, you know, shared their message and stuff. I mean, I'm sure that's a great thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And tell me more about the kind of process of it. You know, when you get a message from someone, and then when you go chalking, what does that look like? You know, do you have any people that you go out with that help you with it, or is it just you two?
So we have a spreadsheet where people can submit their experiences anonymously, and in that they'll just put what the experience was and then the location where it happened, and then we're able to take that and condense it into a message that we can chalk on the ground. We've recently been recruiting volunteers because we've received over 150 submissions in the time that we've been running, and obviously we can't do all of that ourselves because it takes a lot of time to be able to travel to all these places around Sheffield. So we're hoping that now that we've had that volunteer training, we'll be able to have a bit more help with it.
Absolutely. I mean, like, we're always looking for more people to join, because, you know, activism takes a lot of like human power and time and energy, and so that's, you know, chalking is like one element. We're working on our website, which is coming imminently, like we've got like we kind of kept saying it, but we're almost there. I think we felt as if we had a responsibility that we don't just focus our activism online, because we're trying to create real community change, and we can't just do that through Instagram. You know, not to say that activism can't work online, it absolutely can, but I think just for our kind of aims of the campaign.
I mean, I think social media can be a really positive tool in helping to spread the word, but the activism can't solely exist online, because people need to be reminded of these things when they are in physical spaces where harassment does happen. And so part of our process for volunteer training, and when we onboard volunteers, is we talk to them about how harassment is depicted in the media. We talk about ways to intervene if you see harassment. And I think that's been a really positive thing to do in terms of being able to just engage with people in real life, and to hear other people's perspectives on how we can better our campaign as well.
So what are you going to do for the future of this campaign? Are you just going to keep it going, or, I mean, you're working on kind of diversifying from social media, so are there any things that we might see in the future?
We're working on kind of building more educational resources and having kind of longer content. We, as Flo mentioned, are building a website at the moment, and it will be done very soon. It's just kind of been in development over the past couple of months. And we hope that that means that we can, again, just put more information about harassment and things that people can do to tackle harassment out there. We're hoping to also just engage more by having community events. We have an art space coming up. Flo wants to tell you a bit more about that.
So we're working with Access Space, which is a Sheffield art collective. I was actually just out chalking one day and was approached by this random man, and he was like, I really like this and I want to do something art with it. So we're having a photography exhibition. It's running from the 13th of December for about a week or so. It's going to be in the middle of Sheffield, and we're kind of focusing on, like, obviously our campaign, but also the way in which kind of chalking, it has become a very increasingly politicised thing within, like, the activism space. And that's been just so exciting.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it will help us to reach the wider audience that we want to as well, and not just people that have Instagram, but also people that might not kind of see our talks otherwise.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've got that coming up. And then also just, I guess, just looking into the long term, like, you know, we don't really want to stop doing this, and this is something which we can see doing for a long time, I think. Definitely. And obviously, as we're gaining more volunteers, and as we keep gaining submissions of people's experiences, like, it's going to keep going. Yeah.
And is there anything else that you'd like to add on to that? Anything you particularly want to mention?
Maybe just follow us.
Yeah, follow
donate
us.
To us. We have a GoFundMe, because activism costs a lot of money, and, you know, we've wanted to maybe do things that we haven't necessarily been able to fund, because it's expensive to do things like this, and just, like, engage with what we've been doing, because the more people that we have on board, the kind of stronger of a movement it is. So
yeah.
Well, it's been really nice talking to you.
Thank you.
I've loved having a look through what you do and learning more about that, and I look forward to the art space in December.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
No worries at all. And that's all for today's episode of This Week in Sheffield. Thank you for tuning in, and as always, I will see you here in the next episode with a lot more to come. Now, take care out in the snow, and don't forget to get in touch if there is something you feel as though should be covered in a future episode. I hope you have a great rest of your day and a lovely week. Bye for now.